Hey everyone, this is Ryan Francis. I'm the CEO of LaunchPad Lab. And today I want to talk about the second component that goes into speed to market when you're looking to build an application. So the last time I mentioned there are two components that influence speed to market. The first being the team. Who are the people? How fast can you assemble that team? How performant are they in working together? But the second component, which is really important, is the technology. What tech stack are you going to use to build your product? And are you using a tech stack that's going to shrink the overall surface area of what your developers have to do? Or is it going to expand it and make it more complicated? So the goal obviously is to shrink that surface area, is to use technologies that make it easy on your developers to move fast and to build with speed and quality. So I'm going to talk about some of the tech stack, basically some of the technologies that we use at LaunchPad Lab that help us to move faster and that we think make a big impact on our time to market. So the first technology I want to talk about is called Heroku. Heroku is a product that it's a Salesforce product that is what they call it a platform as a service. And basically it actually runs on top of AWS and it automates the whole DevOps process that comes along with infrastructure as a service. So you can think of AWS as being infrastructure as a service and Heroku as being platform as a service that runs on top of that infrastructure as a service. But basically, just to dumb it down and explain what this means in layman's terms, in a nutshell, when you build an app, if you want that application to go live and for your customers to be able to access it, you need to deploy it somewhere to some type of infrastructure. Heroku automates that whole process so that your developers don't have to be fiddling and sort of tweaking things like servers and networking rules and server security and those kind of things. So at LaunchPad Lab, we use Heroku on almost every project because it allows our teams to basically not have to worry about DevOps. We can stay really laser focused on what are the features, the experience, and the UI UX that our clients are looking to deliver to their customers. We can really focus in on that and focus on building the app instead of worrying about how we're going to deploy it. The second technology that we use at LaunchPad that I want to talk about is Ruby and Ruby on Rails. So Ruby is a programming language, and Ruby on Rails is an application development framework that runs on Ruby. We love these two technologies because they both seek to be the most human-friendly in their category. So Ruby seeks to be the most human-friendly programming language in the world, and I think it achieves this goal. Anyone I know who's written in Ruby loves writing and reading code in Ruby because it reads and writes just like regular English. And the reason why that ultimately helps with speed to market is because your development team, if they're working in an environment where it's really easy for them to read and write code, they're going to be able to move a lot faster. It's going to be easier for them to open up a new piece of code and understand what's going on, to be able to make changes to that, and to be able to write new code into the system. So we found at LaunchPad Lab that when we have projects that are able to use Ruby and Ruby on Rails, they just tend to go a lot faster. And that's because it's a very human-friendly environment that our developers love working in. The third technology I want to talk about is specifically for mobile app development and really cross-platform development. So if you're trying to build a mobile app or something that's running in mobile and web, and this technology is called Ionic. Hybrid development has come a long way over the last 5 years, and we found that at this point, it's caught up to a point where it produces a really high quality native app experience. So with Ionic, you can basically have a team build an iOS app, Android app, and web app all at the same time in one code base, and using the languages that those teams know and love, which is essentially HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So using just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you can build fully native iOS, Android applications and they compile down into those native languages really well. They actually compile down into the native, presentation layer components. So if you haven't checked out Ionic, we highly recommend it. We actually just brought a native app to market on both iOS and Android in about 3 months using Ionic, and the output, the quality of it is really top notch. So super impressed with what Ionic has done and how they've evolved that technology. I definitely recommend you take a look. Anyway, hope this is helpful. Definitely, there's many other ways that technology can influence your speed to market, but these are really the highlights and the key technologies that we leverage at LaunchPad Lab to help our clients bring their technology to market faster. All right, thank you.